Like to make sure and give a shout out to both of our remote campuses, Grace Legacy Church in Deerfield, Missouri, and Rich Hill Tabernacle. Need to make a couple of announcements real quick here before we get started tonight. We have been undergoing a major revamp on our tech side and have got some very exciting things I want to update you guys on. First of all, we have a entirely new multimedia platform network. Thank you, Subsplash, for that. Little shout out to you. We've got a brand new website. Please check it out, gracelegacychurch.com. We also now have an app available on both Android and Apple. You can find that. What you'll need to do is you'll need to go download the church app and then search Grace Legacy Church. There's a remote code for it, but quite honestly, it's not in my notes and I don't remember it. So that just kind of is what it is. But if you go through it that way, I'm sure you'll find it. We also have a on-demand TV app in progress for Roku and Apple TV as well. We're working on getting podcasts live. Meanwhile, you can watch us live through the website. It will also be simulcast on Facebook Live and on YouTube. So if you're a regular follower of either of those channels, I know there's quite a few of them out there for Tabernacles channels. There'll be live cast on that as well. Anyway, now that I got all that out of the way, thanks to our tech team for all that. Right along with that, we're also going to be running a number of email groups, I guess you call them. Our administrator there will be Sister Jody. So if you want to know anything about those, you can get in touch with her. Most of you probably have her on Facebook anyway. If you don't, please add her. Now, it's a couple of things that, this morning that I was going to talk about, but you know me. Plans change. That's what I do best. I change things. Ask any of my tech people. Drives them insane. I hear you over there in the corner there laughing, Brother Chad. Anyway, I'm going to do something I don't normally do, and I'm going to give you a little insight, a little update to what I've been going through lately. And this is kind of a personal thing, and y'all know me, I don't like to get personal, but I don't know, I've just been kind of led to do that a lot lately. So anyway, here we go. For those of you who don't know, I injured my back at work back in January, and that's been a pretty bad deal. It's been a whole lot rougher than I thought it was going to be. I was hoping it'd be, just a quick couple of physical therapy and get back to work sessions, but unfortunately it's turned into a whole lot more. Now, I don't go into a lot of detail, but let's just say I'm in a rough place right now, folks. Not going to lie to you. I'm in a bad place. So prayers would definitely be appreciated for all that. But here's the real reason I bring that up, folks. Here's the real reason I bring that up. Okay? It occurs to me that I'm probably not the only one in a rough place right now. In fact, I'm sure you've all got things going on in your own lives, too, that's pretty rough to deal with. Just, it's just like that old devil's just got you beat. And as I go through this deal, I'm finding myself a lot about what I can't do. Because I'm finding I can't do a whole lot anymore. Every time I try, it reminds me of what I can't do. That's a rough thing, folks. It really is. It's a major life change. Some of you may be having some life changes of your own. I hope not. Hope I can say to all, 7, 8, 900, however many of you there are out there now, and we lost count. But anyway, I hope that y'all can say, no, brother, my life's great. That's awesome. That's awesome. I hope you can say that. But for those of us who can't, I just want to throw this out at you. You know what that is that keeps beating you down like that? That's the devil. That's right. That's right. You think that's the voice in your own head telling you you can't, just give up, you won't ever? Nah. That ain't your voice. That ain't your voice. You're letting him put thoughts in your head. And that's what I've been doing, folks. That's what I've been doing a lot. I'm very guilty of that one. Well, and that's quite honestly why you folks haven't heard from me in a while. Because that's what I've been doing. I've been listening to it. Well, I got some bad news for that voice, that spirit, that demon, whatever you want to call it, that old devil. You kicked me, devil. You kicked me hard and you kicked me good. But here's the bad news for you. I don't have to take it. Because guess what? This old preacher man's going to make a comeback. Now, make no mistake about it, I'm not talking about being physically able to do the things I could do before. That'd be nice, but I've been praying on that a lot, and I just don't think that's God's will right now. And I've been having a lot of issues trying to figure out then what. Where's this going? What am I going to do about it? But here's the thing I keep forgetting, folks. I don't need to know those answers. God has those answers. It don't matter what I know, because he knows. He has that answer. He knows where this is going. So, you know what? Just let me say this in front of, and however many hundred of you there are out there today, that I'm not going to play that game anymore. I'm not going to do it. Not going to play that game. I don't have to. God may choose not to heal this physically, but that devil can't have my mind. He can't have my mind. And he can't take our ministry, folks. He can't take it. He doesn't have the power. Doesn't have the power. So I'm not going to put up with it. So let me just throw this out there to not just me, but all of you out there with those situations. In the name of Jesus Christ, I declare, devil, get out of our heads. There you have it. Just like that. Get out of our heads. And Lord, I'm going to ask you today that you remember those of us like me that's struggling out there, and help maintain our faith, help maintain our peace. Help us to remember that no matter what, you've still got this. You've still got this. Some of you that are long-term people with us might remember that was one of my core messages from 2 years ago. And guess what? That's still true today. God's got this. God's got this. It don't matter what it is. God's got this. Now, right along with that, I was reading my Bible the other day, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't write it down. I don't remember chapter, verse. Don't even remember what book it was in. But here's the core thing that I do want to get across to you. Little story. There's another man who was in a bad place once. Y'all might have heard of him. He's kind of a big deal in Bible history. I think his name was what was it? David. That's right, giant killer, anointed king David. Well, here's the thing. There's a little part in there they don't go over much. Everybody always tell you how he killed Goliath. That's great. Everybody always tells you how he's such an outstanding king of Israel. That's great too. But the part they don't cover much is the part in between that. What happened between when David was anointed to be king and when he actually became king of Israel? Well, let me tell you a little story about that. See, there's this guy who was the king at the time. His name was Saul. And he wasn't real happy about David being anointed to be king. You know, you might kind of imagine that. He didn't want to give up his power. He didn't want to give up that throne. Even though he knew David was anointed to it. So, he got this idea in his head, because, he's in the flesh. He does that kind of thing. He said, you know what? I'm going to send people out, and I'm going to get rid of him. So David did the only thing he could do. He wasn't king yet. He didn't have no army behind him. He knew he couldn't match Saul on a physical or military level. Did the only thing he could do. He ran. That's right. Giant killer, great warrior David, he ran. And he hid out. Just a few of his little followers, he hid out in a cave. Now, some of y'all might grasp the symbolism of where I'm going with this story, and it kind of goes back to what I alluded to just a moment ago. Almighty anointed warrior King David had to hide out in a cave. That ain't a good place to be, folks. He living like a rat underground when he knows he's anointed to be king. You want to talk about being in a bad place? You imagine that? Hiding in a cave, sneaking around, when you know you're supposed to be a king. You know you're supposed to be the king. Well, David could have done what I did for a while. Lay down, give up, let it go. Just say, yeah, you know what? Can't do nothing about that right now. But you see, David didn't do that. David did not do that. David said, you know what? I might be in a cave, but God said I'm a king. God says I'm a king. Now, how much more than that do you need, folks? You know, just like me, you might be in that cave situation. But remember that. God said we're anointed to be kings and queens and judges. We're not going to be in that cave forever, folks. We're not going to. One of these days, we're going to get out of that cave. We're going to walk into that place that God's chosen for us. We're going to stand up and we're going to say, look here, I am a king. Because God said I am. And if God be for us, who can be against us? That's going to happen. It's going to happen. So while you're hiding in that cave, folks, never forget that. Don't make the mistake I did. Don't lose it like that. God didn't appoint you to be in that cave. You might be for the moment. You might be for a season. He might have you wandered in the desert for 40 years. But one day, he's going to raise you up to what he anointed you to be. We're going to rise up and say, I am a king. I don't have to take this. I'm a king. And I'm a king because Jesus says I'm a king. Don't believe it? Read it. It says it right here. It says it right here. We are meant to be kings. So if you're still in that cave, you know what? Just say, you know what, Lord? It's okay. It's okay that I'm in that cave. But you know what? Small as this cave might be, dark as it might be, I'm still a king. I'm still a king. I'm a king in the name of Jesus Christ. And Lord, I just ask you to declare that over my situation and everybody else's out there, that we remember that we are still a king. No matter how dark that cave is, no matter how damp it is, how wet it is, how cold we are, how much we hurt, how tired we are. Just remember. Just remember that, folks, please. Never let that devil take that from you. Don't lose your crown over it, folks. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Just be the king or queen of that cave. Wherever God puts you, be the king or queen of that situation. You can't do it on your own, folks. You can't do it. Okay, point blank. But Jesus can. Jesus can. And you were meant to be exactly that. Take charge of it. Be the king or queen of whatever cave you're in. And guess what? One of these days, you're going to walk out of there. Heck, it might be real bad. You might crawl out of there. But you know what? He's going to put that crown on your head, and he's going to show the world that beat you down while you're in that cave. He's going to show the world what you were truly meant to be. Because he's God like that. And that's what he does. And that's who he is. And nobody, no situation, no doctor, no judge, no president, no king can tell you different. Because they can't stop that plan. They can't. If God be for us, who can stand against us? So that's my core message to you today, folks. That's that core message to you. When you're in a cave, you be the king of that cave. I declare this for all of us today. In the name of Jesus Christ.